could there be another global medal heading in the direction of Grenada? He looks pretty relaxed, doesn't he? His heat coming up shortly.
I find that interesting when you look at Kirani James's personal best there. It's not what the other men's, you know, he's relatively high in the 43 seconds, but he's such a championship performer. So we do look forward to him getting underway in Heat 5. But before that, Heat 3 down on the track. Alexander Doom, part of the mixed 4x4 team for Belgium. Performed so well, knocked out in the heats, but they did get the gold medal indoors in the men's 4x4. Missoula Samukonga, Zambia will go in lane 7. Lane 6, Javon Powell, national champion from Jamaica. Anyone that wins a sprint title in Jamaica is someone you need to pay attention to. Javon Powell, no different, sub 45 seconds this year. Lane 5 will be Ricky Petriani, Switzerland, European under-23 champion last year. Lane 4, Obadiah Timbachi and Vanuatu. Lane 3, Mike Cherry, number 6 time in the world this year. Here on a wild card, he won the Diamond League Championships last year, so Mike Cherry, again one of those athletes that could just focus his effort on preparing for this home championships. Anthony Kasela, world junior champion in Nairobi last year for Botswana, will go in lane 2.
On your marks.
Kasela dipped under 45 seconds when he took that world junior title back in last August, so he's certainly one to watch. He will go in lane 1. Mike Cherry will be a good benchmark for the young athlete from Botswana on his outside in lane 3. Top 3 automatically through to Wednesday's semi-finals. World record holder Wade van Niekerk looked in total control in the first round. Host Nation's Mike Norman turned it on in the final 100 metres to take the second heat. He's been just cruising round. We'll watch the stagger unfold. Mike Cherry blasting past the athlete to his side, and he's making ground up already on Switzerland Petriani. That's pretty impressive considering he's a couple of laps outside of him. Pasela, the young athlete from Botswana, struggling a little bit on lane 2, but Mike Cherry in the lead at the moment. Mike Cherry hitting the home straight. Has he got a little bit extra? He might have to find a bit the athlete from Zambia. Samukonga on the outside, finishing hard. Samukonga tying up ever so slightly, giving it everything, and he gets the second place behind Mike Cherry. And Alexander Doom of Belgium coming through strongly for third place. Similar run to Michael Norman there for me. Mike Cherry just saving that little bit for the last 100 metres, using all of his experience, looking up at the big screens to know that he could just do a tiny bit more, ensure a good draw for the semi-final. But Samukonga laying it all out there this morning. Does he know the result, or was he just absolute sea of lactic in the closing metres there? He might even not know what he quite did there, but just 200ths behind Mike Cherry is a fantastic performance there for Mzala Samukonga.
I was really impressed with Samukonga there, because when you watch the race back, first of all, Cherry had a lightning quick first 150, then he eased off, and then he obviously just ensured he gets top lane draw by making certain of the victory. But Samukonga ran brilliantly down the back straight and round the second bend and showed no lack of stamina, the African champion, to hold on for a qualification spot. See, Cherry's already done his hard work here, but Samukonga comes back to him. Petrucciani, the European under-23 champion, went backwards a little bit. He'll be disappointed with that, the man from Switzerland. But although Samukonga's not necessarily the tidiest looking 400-metre runner, he's got a really, really good engine, because he didn't fade after accelerating halfway down the back straight. And that is an excellent qualification from the Zambian behind the American Mike Cherry. He's tense there, isn't he? And he's a bit tight. But my God, he's brave, and he can run, and he's into the semi-finals.
What I love as you watch a major championship like this unfold, how does each athlete approach the different rounds? The likes of Mike Cherry, he would have gone, I've got a job to do today. You would have been nervous, you've got to get it right, you've got to not false start, you've got to ensure you get in those top three, and most importantly for these guys, top one, so that you don't meet another favourite in your semi-final. But then you look to the likes of Muzala, Samu Konga, and this is his final. He's got to come here and lay it all out. Similar for Alexander Doom out there in lane 8 for Belgium, and he managed to get himself in the top 3. But I love the different attitudes and approaches that these athletes have to bring to each round. I read a great quote from Fred Curley last night. Someone asked him, why did you run 10.7 in the opening round? And he said, because the other guys would have had to go to sleep thinking about 9.7. I didn't. I love piling the pressure on your competitors. Another twist in the tactics at major championships.
And he proved that he doesn't panic either, because Bracey had half a yard on him right up until towards the end of the race, and a lot of other athletes would have really panicked in that situation. And as soon as you start thinking about that in 100, you go tight, you go tense, and your stride shortens. He was brilliant, Curley, and that is a great insight into the mindset of what it takes to produce a world title.
And as much as you try and focus on your own event, you do look and you see what the other athletes achieve. Michael Cherry, just winning that heat by 100th ahead of Samu Konga, Alexander Doom in 3rd place. You'd kind of say that's not as impressive. He didn't look as good as Wade van Niekerk. He didn't look as good as Michael Norman. He'll say, "Oh, that's fine. I'm conserving energy. I don't care." But I think he would have been intimidated to see Wade van Niekerk looking back to his best.
Isaac Makwala contemplating the battle to come. How many years has he been representing Botswana on the global stage? Getting a little bit blustery up here in our commentary position. Our papers are blowing everywhere. Might be a little bit of a breeze in the face of Makwala. Looking forward to seeing champion Allison. What a great name. He's gone 10th on the all-time list, by the way. 2nd in the US champs. This is the kind of performance it takes to make the American team. 43.70 to come 2nd in the American National Championship. So Allison will be drawn in the lane outside Makwala. We're not using lane 1. Karani James goes in heat 5. He'll be in lane 4, and he'll have some decent athletes to chase outside him. So he's going through the call room. It's going to be busy beneath the bowels of this stadium, because we've got athletes arriving for 6 heats, the women's 400 metres, and that's before we've got 24 men lining up for the 10,000 final. So there's plenty of drama still to come here. Heat 4 about to commence, and if you like following the facts and the figures, we've got 6 non-automatic spots available in the semis of the 4 at the moment. To get amongst those for the athletes outside the top 3, they're looking for around 46.3, 46.2. Sato will be in the lane outside Karani James in heat 5 of 6. Scotty goes in lane 7. So that's the men for heat 5. The boys for 4 are already out in the stadium, ready for business. That's dedication, bringing a newborn to the track. I'm not sure he or she will remember much about the experience, but mum and dad want to get up close and personal with the best athletes in the world. Brilliant. If you live nearby, come and join us. We'll see if we can blag you a ticket. Delighted to have your company. Mikhail Litvin on the outside, national record in Doha. Then younger brother to Kevin Borley. Kevin was in 8, Dylan's in 7. Twice European champion. Kijanovic of Serbia goes in 6, 5 times a national champion, over 2 in the 400 metres. Dwight St. Hilaire studies at the University of Kentucky. 3rd in the Trinidad National Champs over 200. David Ray set a national record as part of the Italian quartet in the 4x4. He's not quite in PB shape at the moment. This guy is champion Allison, 10th on the all-time list, 2nd in the US Champs, behind Mike Norman, who has already qualified from lane 2. Mike Cherry's safely there, and champion Allison will provide the focus for Isaac Makwala, the Commonwealth champion, the veteran who's been around literally for decades. 5th in Beijing, 6th in London. Makwala needs a top 3 finish here to advance into the semi-finals. So the Botswanan Commonwealth champions in 2, Allison USA in 3, Ray of Italy in 4, St. Hilaire Trinidad in 5, Kijanovic Serbia 6, Borley Belgium 7, and Litvin Kazakhstan on the outside in lane 8. 45.18 from Van Niekerk, 45.37 Norman, 45.81 Mike Cherry. What can Allison produce here in Heat 4?
Set.
Crowd roar their approval. St. Hilaire has already started well. Up onto the shoulder of Tadanovic. Down the back straight, Dylan Borley running well, and on the inside, McQuarla's closed the gap on champion Allison. He's in fact ahead of the American, who you would expect to come through quite late. Litvin will come under some pressure from Borley. McQuarla's had a really good run so far. Champion Allison now beginning to sort of rock and roll. He's got a distinctive stride coming past the veteran Botswanan. Allison from Borley and McQuarla. Litvin just missing out on the automatic spots. 45.57. Curious race, that one, because McQuarla caught champion Allison quite easily, and I haven't seen him run too many times. He's got a sort of side-to-side lean when he runs. I wasn't sure whether Allison was having to work a little bit for that. However, he is through to the semi-finals, as is Borley Jr., but Isaac McQuarla still delivering and still getting himself in the shake-up.
Again, when I talked about that different attitude you've got to bring depending on the stage in your career, and that's really interesting to see from Isaac McQuarla, because he's been the top performer, slightly off his best because he's been around so long. But he would have woke up and this year, 2022, I have to run this like it's a final. And he really put the pressure onto Allison. You think Allison would have woken up and gone, well, this is fine, I'm ranked number 2 in the world, there shouldn't be too much hard work. And what did he know, with 80 metres to go, he still couldn't get back on terms with Isaac McQuarla. So champion Allison perhaps having to work a little bit harder than he might have expected to this morning, managing it in the end without any difficulty. And it was a good, well-measured run from Dylan Borley out in lane 7. I wonder if he was aware, if he used the big screens or looked over to his left to see what was going on with Isaac McQuarla and champion Allison, or whether he just powered all the way to the line.
Were you surprised that Allison appeared to have to work a little bit there?
Like I say, it's the emotions of coming into something like this. Often it's that sort of opportunity versus risk as well. Champion Allison warming up, you kind of think, if I don't make it through, I'm messing up. And that can really paralyse you, that can drain your energy. So it could have been a little bit of that as well for champion Allison, kind of going, it's just stressful.
Champion Allison coming through after McQuarla started so quickly. The Botswanan is safely through. Dylan Borley also coming home with a really experienced 45.7. Litvin will miss out with that 46 seconds, I think, even though it was a season's best.